On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Blessings. I'm Russell Lewis. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I'm an independent agent and I represent a plethora of different insurance carriers, and I offer a variety of insurance products and insurance services, including automobile, motorcycle, boat, general contractors insurance, long-term care, life insurance, motorcycle. Are you a landlord, have rental property? I work with Foremost Insurance to offer landlord insurance, renter's insurance through Progressive Insurance, as you see, which is one of many carriers I represent. Do you need to protect your business vehicle or your truck? Do you have a golf cart? I work with Universal Property and Casualty for your homeowners and property insurance, Pacific Specialty. Does someone in your home or business need someone who speaks Spanish in the insurance carrier? I have carriers who do that. I'm also a licensed mortgage loan officer in the state of Maryland. I'm looking to expand to 4 to 5 other states in this coming year. And I offer a book to my potential clients on how to get the best mortgages. And a second book I offer to licensed realtors to help their clients prepare for the mortgage lending process. Do your clients, or do you or your clients need an estate planning program? We have an estate planning software program which I market and assist you with. And again, many carriers I work with in 16 states, from New York down to Florida, over to Ohio, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas, and Colorado, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Alabama, and other states. If you need insurance, give me a call at 443-622-0561. My web address is www.lewisfinancialgroup.net. You can reach me Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. And I'm also available on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I look forward to serving you with all of your insurance needs. Give me a call whenever you're available. Thanks you again. Peace and blessings.
All right. Greetings, friends, family, allies, and enemies. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. BB48, Straight Black Pride, Brother Elijah. BB48, brother, you got ripped off. And greetings to Brother Devontae. I wanted to start off with this real quick. This is the advertisement for Ujamaa Shule's 58th anniversary, which is coming up this Sunday at 2 p.m. No, what? 2:30 p.m. And just very quickly, what I want to talk about is the fact that this is the oldest African-centered school in America. And we talk a lot about other people building a school, specifically for boys or children in general, whatever the case may be. Well, this school exists right now, right? So this is what I'm asking y'all to do this week. You don't have to do it tonight. I'm just asking that maybe we can be done by Saturday. I'm trying to go to this event. I'm trying to raise money to go to this event. All the money that will be raised will go to buy the ticket. And if there's any left over, that'll be donated to the school, which was founded by Baba Zulu. So I'm just going to say a little bit about Baba Zulu, then I'm going to get into tonight's discussion. Baba Zulu is a walking library of history of our people in the 20th century. He's worked with, among others, Dr. King, Stokely Carmichael. He's known H. Rap Brown, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, Mayor Marion Barry. Well, actually, he knew him before he was mayor. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, who was a big supporter of the school for a long time. I'm trying to think, am I missing anyone? Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen, Dr. John Henry Clark. That's just off the top of my head, right? So I'm telling you that to tell you the enormity of this man's work. That he's worked with all these people. Some of the people have been to the school to teach and lecture. Some have been just to see how the school works, right? Some have donated large sums of money. Many of those people that I've named are no longer here. So this anniversary is a fundraiser, right? Right now, just be honest, I don't have the full funds like I normally have. I'm not gonna say how much money I've given to the school over the last 10 years. Let's just put it like this. I've given over $1,000 to the school over the last 10 years, which ain't a lot in 10 years, but it's over. I'm not gonna say how much over, but it's over. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And if you don't want to send me the money, but you want to support the school, you can send them Cashapp at Ujamaa school, right? You can do that. So you say, hey man, I don't really like DC, although I don't know why you'd be listening if you don't really like DC. That's you just ear hustling. But you're like, oh, I don't want to pay for his ticket. He should pay for his own ticket. Well, you can still support the school via Cashapp if you want to be like that. Because I know sometimes people are like that. So I just want to put that on the table. I'll mention it again on Thursday because I'll be back on Thursday. And I will put the flyer on Instagram and YouTube. So with that being said, let us go to the actual program tonight. So what is tonight's discussion? And let me get the banners up. Let me get the music going and all the usual stuff because we don't have much time tonight. Brother, you got ripped off says anything more than $10 is what most will give in 10 years. All right. So by the way, can y'all hear the music? Because I cannot. Not thought I turned it on, but I don't hear anything. Okay. Get my voice. I have it set at the normal settings, but I don't know. So here's tonight's discussion, plain and simple. Would AES be betrayed by its neighbors? And since we're going to talk about Africa, I started off talking about the oldest African center school. I'm trying to get an interview with Baba Zulu. Baba Zulu doesn't really like to do interviews, but I want to get his story out to more of the public. But we'll see how that goes. Here's Here's why. Here's what made me think about that. You said we need djembe background music for AES programs. You know, I have, I'll be honest, I probably have something somewhere on this computer, but things are becoming harder to find. I'm not gonna lie. Using up a lot of memory on this computer. That's all I'm gonna say. A lot of memory on this computer. But I was looking at some things that have been going on, like near the AES, and it's made me uncomfortable because I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, if they do that and they do that and they do that. So and then today, only today, I don't know why, I thought about Baba Traore's Dark Winter speech. So I'm going to play the Dark Winter speech, but we're going to look at a couple of articles. Then we're going to play the Dark Winter speech, and then we'll get into some other things that make me uncomfortable and should make everybody uncomfortable that cares about Black people, because, and I know nobody wants to hear this, but let's just be honest. The most excited Black people around the world have been for any event since the Obama election has been the rise of Captain Traore, Baba Goita, and Baba Shiani uniting and forming the AES confederation. People who don't consider themselves Pan-Africanists, they see Baba Traore, they hear him, they get excited. Women that, you know, don't even like African brothers and dark-skinned brothers, they get excited. So, I mean, I've seen it amongst regular people, like when they find out. And people who, you know what I'm saying, even people who are staunchly anti-African, at least give Baba Traore his respect for doing the work, right? Not gonna mention no names, because I ain't gonna give him no credit for backhanded compliments. So when something like that gets Black people on the continent and around the world excited, we should be all alert to make sure that our enemies don't destroy it, right? Because we know that's what they do, because they're our enemies. It goes without saying. So let's just look at this article first, this first article. And I didn't know what order I was going to do stuff, but this makes sense. It says EU, that's the European Union, and Ghana signed security and defense partnership and strengthened cooperation with new equipment handover. Now, why is this crazy? This is crazy because if we remember, right before this, Ghana put before United Nations a resolution to have the transatlantic slave trade considered one of the worst crimes, or a crime against humanity, one of the worst crimes in human history. Now, y'all tell me if I'm free. How do you go from saying that the transatlantic slave trade is one of the worst crimes in human history, and you know that some of the countries, let's just list some of the countries that were involved, right? That we know: France, Spain, Portugal, England. Those are countries we know were involved just in the slave trade. We ain't even talking about colonialism, because that ain't what they say. They said this slave trade. So you do that, and then the same, I believe it's the same week, brother. You got ripped off. You check, see if it's the same week. I believe the same week, or maybe the next week, after you say that, which is correct, by the way, the next thing you do is have a defense partnership with the same countries that you say committed to one of the greatest atrocities in the world. And it's a security and defense partnership. So you expect the same countries that destroyed the kingdoms that existed before your countries existed, and then drew up the lines for the countries now, right? Because what we consider Ghana is not the kingdom of Ghana now. The country of Ghana is not the kingdom of Ghana, right? So the same people that divided up people, made up borders, and divided different tribes and nations and kingdoms and destroyed them and all this and that. You want to work with them for security. I need somebody. Am I tripping? Am I lunching? And do I not know what's going on? Can somebody please explain to me how this is not only hypocrisy but insanity? If there's any people on earth you should not trust, it is the EU. The EU is less trustworthy in this regard than the United States. And I know that's think about that. That's crazy. The United States can't be trusted at all at this point. You know, you don't know what Trump's going to do. Trump don't know what Trump's going to do when you wake up, right? So let's just read the article because let's read the article. All right, quickly. It says, look at this. This is, I don't know who this is. Look at this. These people don't even look like they just belong in the same picture together. Anyway, it says the European Union and Ghana have taken a significant step forward in their partnership on peace, security, and defense. The two sides signed a security and defense partnership in Accra alongside the handling of key military equipment funded under the European Peace Facility. The partnership was signed by the High Representative Cashapp on behalf of the European Union and Nana Jane Opoko Ujamaa, Vice President of Ghana for the Republic of Ghana. This milestone, that's one way to put it, reinforces a long-standing partnership grounded in shared values, including democracy, multilateralism, good governance, and the rule of law, and a shared commitment to addressing evolving security challenges. Let's start right here. It's so interesting that they said that, because while they're saying democracy, Bobby Traore just said that democracy kills black people, which, hey, we've been living in a democracy for hundreds of years, and Lord knows we get killed every day. You know what I'm saying? So Bobby Traore, he's but somebody that's not over here, he sure knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to argue with his point. And yet, here we are. We have Ghana. Now, mind you, this is the same Ghana that had their founding president excommunicated by the West. He was toppled. They had a coup d'etat. And yet, here they are signing partnerships with people with enemies. Brother, you got to rip off this. Partnership was done on March 5th. The UN vote 20 days later. So they did the partnership first. Bruh. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, Ghana is one of the places I thought about living since I was a teenager. I didn't even know what Ghana looked like when I was like, I think that's the place I want to go and live the rest of my life. I wanted to go when I was literally 17 years old. And I had a teacher. If you want to understand how long I've been doing this, I had a teacher tell me, a European teacher. She said, because I was talking about it, and she was like, but wouldn't you want to stay here and help your people? And I was like, well, I am here. Maybe she has a point, or maybe I should at least try, right? That's what I said. And I don't know whether I made the right decision or not. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we put in a lot of it. We've done a lot of it, right? Trade Black Pride has done a lot of it. And I believe we've inspired a lot of people. We've helped some people. We've done some good things, I believe. And those things may not have been able to be done if I wasn't here. I don't know. And I may have had no effect over there because I may not have had the inspiration. I may not have known what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie. Other places outside the U.S. are looking mighty good right now. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm gonna say on that. So, brother, you got Brother Off said they bent the knee first and then they came with. Yeah, they came with some okie doke. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's get back to this article. You know, says increasing complex global and regional environment, security and prosperity are closely interconnected. The new security and defense partnership provides a structured and forward-looking framework to deepen cooperation and address shared threats. These include regional instability and terrorism, hybrid and cyber threats, maritime security challenges, climate-related security risks, transnational organized crime. Partnership establishes a dedicated annual EU-Ghana security and defense dialogue, ensuring sustained political engagement and strategic direction for the partnership. Now, let me stop right here. We've been here. Thank you, brother. Think about this. We've been here. Think about this. You cooperating, and it sounds so bad because cooperating sounds a lot like, if we're being honest, sounds like what dudes do when they facing a crime and they go cooperate with the police and then other people go to jail. You're cooperating with people and you say, yeah, we're going to work against transnational organized crime. Bruh, the whole Epstein situation is a transnational organized crime. Is the European Union, have they done anything about that? Right? Climate-related security risks. Literally, we know that European scientists have been manipulating climate for a while. Is this going to exempt you from those experiments? And then it says hybrid and cyber threats. And then regional instability. Now, we're going to get to the regional instability and terrorism. I want to get to that. Let's think about that, right? You're going to work with the Europeans on terrorism, right? But you say terrorism is a problem. Okay, fine, cool. I understand terrorism is a problem. Regional instability is a problem. But are you depending on the West to stop the terrorism? Or is the West to stop the terrorism? Let's think about it, right? So I'm gonna just show this, and okay, this is not the EU, but if you think that countries in the EU would do the same thing about as far as what I'm about to show, or if you think that the countries in the EU are against what I'm about to show, is check out this video. I'm not gonna say nothing. We'll play the video, and then we're gonna talk about the relevance of it.
Less than a year ago, he was a wanted man, labeled a terrorist, known by his alias Abu Muhammad al-Julani, and with a $10 million bounty on his head. All of that is now a thing of the past. Today, Ahmed Shara is president of Syria, and he's being officially received at the White House by none other than the president of the same country that was seeking to arrest him. The change might seem brisk, but Shara's transformation has long been in the making. He began fighting in 2003 when, as a young, reportedly went to Iraq to join the local Sunni resistance against US occupation. But he ended up serving in the ranks of Al-Qaeda, then joined ISIL, and was arrested when he shared the same detention facilities of Abu Ghraib and Camp Buka with top Al-Qaeda commanders, including Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. After his release in 2011, Shara moved back to Syria, where he joined Al-Qaeda-linked Hayat Tahrir al-Sham to fight against the regime of Bashar al-Assad.
فقد قررنا إلغاء العمل باسم جبهة النصرة.
In 2016, he severed his ties with Al-Qaeda and was soon to benefit from a deal signed by Syria, US, Russia and Turkey to create a deconflict zone in the north. For nearly a decade, Shara''s group managed to provide basic administrative and social services to a mostly displaced population in Syria's Idlib province. A defining moment came in December 2024 when, in a sudden push on the capital Damascus, Ahmed Shara' toppled the regime of Bashar al-Assad, ending more than half a century of rule by the Assad family. As swift as his march on Damascus was the regional and international endorsement he received. US President Donald Trump not only met him in Riyadh, but he even had some words of praise for him.
How did you find the Syrian president?
Great. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy. You know, strong pass. Very strong pass fighter.
Since then, Shara' has been on a roller coaster of official visits, regional summits, and high-profile meetings with world leaders, including even the main former backer of Bashar al-Assad, President Putin of Russia. The dramatic reversal in Shara''s status from an Al-Qaeda commander with a US bounty on his head to a president and a guest of honor at the White House is simply unprecedented. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera.
Now, apparently, this is what the West considers fighting terrorism. Like, think about it. This guy, a known terrorist who was captured by the United States, held next to al-Baghdadi, right? We know he killed people, but you got ripped off. So dude's a whole war. And then now he's the president of Syria. And then, now let's look at this. Remember al-Baghdadi? Remember, they just mentioned al-Baghdadi. Now, they were in the same place together. Right? They were in the same place, and then all of a sudden, this guy becomes the president. Well, who's al-Baghdadi? According to this, right? And they said that they got this information from Snowden. According to this article, al-Baghdadi is not al-Baghdadi. Al-Baghdadi is Elliot Shimon. It says, according to a Veterans Today report, al-Baghdadi is Jewish, while his real name is Elliot Shimon. The report says it also took Edward Snowden's testimony as a basis, according to which the leader of the Islamic State was trained by Mossad and the American CIA. Snowden said the intelligence services of 3 countries, namely the United States, Great Britain, and the Zionist entity, have worked together to create a terrorist organization that is able to attract all the world's extremists to one country. Use the strategy called the Grinz's Nest, the report states. But the authenticity of such Snowden documents remains disputed. Of course they do. Which is why no known world medium has written about these quote-unquote conspiracy theories. Then Snowden told the New York Times in an interview that NSA secrets are safe and that he had left all the classified documents with 2 journalists he met in Hong Kong. These are reporters from the Washington Post. While quote-unquote conspiracy theories about al-Baghdadi are blooming every day, the ISIS leader remains a mysterious figure to many. Based on information provided by followers of the Islamic State, the real name of the ISIS leader is Ibrahim bin Awad bin Ibrahim al-Badri al-Radawi al-Husseini al-Samari, also known as Abu Dua or Dr. Ibrahim. Al-Baghdadi is his war nickname. Born in 1971, he is said to have worked as a teacher and has the title of doctoral lecturer with great knowledge of Islamic Sharia. Now, let's think about this. We know for a fact that a whole terrorist is taking over a whole country and is being welcomed by the world. We say Turkey, we see the United States. So what makes us think that the UAE ain't in on it too, right? I mean, the EU, excuse me, not the UAE, the EU. Because if the Western powers, the United States, is backing up a known terrorist, a person that they claim was terrorist, they put $10 million on his head and then welcome him in, And he served under a guy who's allegedly Mossad, which means that he's probably at least been trained by Mossad. What are we talking about right now? So you're going to sign up to fight terrorism with people who make terrorists and train them to take over other countries. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. And the thing about it is, no one's trying to, no one is trying to hide this stuff, right? So look, I'm gonna play this video real quick because I got a lot of video. I'm gonna play the video where they discuss the signing of the agreement between Ghana and EU.
History. As the first African country to conclude a strategic security and defense agreement with the European Union, the deal places Ghana among a small group of EU security partners that includes the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, and Norway. The agreement was signed in Accra by Ghana's Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and Kaya Kallas, Vice President of the European Commission during her official visit. DW's Adra Tenkrama-Domina has more.
The new security and defense partnership sets out a structured long-term framework for cooperation between Ghana and the European Union. It focuses on shared security challenges that continue to affect the region. Now, these include terrorism spilling over from the Sahel, cyber and hybrid threats, maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea, the impacts of climate pressures on instability, and the rise of transnational organized crime. How does Ghana benefit? The agreement is expected to improve Ghana's capabilities in counterterrorism, border management, and crisis response. It comes at a moment when West Africa is facing growing militant activity and political uncertainty. What does the EU hope to achieve? Kaya Kallas shared more insights during an interview with DW.
Now we are supporting, of course, also the different approach when it comes to economy, because I think it's important that we also deal with the root causes of instability, which are stemming from economy, and therefore, our support in various projects via the Global Gateway, but also, different support mechanisms that we have. And this is important that we continue to see what more is there. We also were exploring the bilateral possibilities. I mean, what we are interested in are critical raw materials, and also what kind of cooperation we could have there, plus also energy.
So after a whole lot of jibber jabber, the European female said she got to the point. Critical raw materials. Brothers and sisters, our enemy does not have the materials necessary for their survival. We literally just have to not work with the enemy and they'll be destroyed. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to save our enemy. By the way, brother, you got ripped off, corrected, issue of correction. He said that, good gracious, the agreement was signed the day before the UN vote. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. This is insane. This is insane, right? So after all that talk about helping or this or that or whatever, it comes down to the same thing. Now, who else is doing it? Senegal. They're signing with the U.S. They signed a military cooperation deal. Y'all can see that, right? Yeah. Can y'all see that? Okay, cool. Let's read this article real quick because unfortunately I don't have a lot of time. Right? So, says Senegal and the United States have signed a defense cooperation. This is from 2 years ago. Deal aimed at easing the deployment of U.S. troops to the country. In a joint press briefing, U.S. Ambassador to Senegal James Zumwalt said the agreement will help forces in both countries reinforce their cooperation to better deal with the threats of common interest. Which, what does that even mean? Like, seriously, like, threats of common interest? What does that mean? Now, anyway, it says, according to U.S. Africa Command, around 40 U.S. Department of Defense personnel are currently stationed in Senegal. The U.S. Embassy in Dakar said that the number would not increase under the deal, allegedly. This agreement is about access. It's about coming when there's an urgent desire and when both sides agree. On the other hand, Senegal's foreign minister said the accord was one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa and will bolster the country's ability to respond to growing security challenges. It says crises are not always predictable. That's why this agreement is a long-term agreement. The agreement is meant to aid the West African nation to counter different crises such as terrorism, which have been recently affected neighboring countries. Senegal faces a growing threat from Islamist militants due to its close ties with France. It also has forces fighting alongside regional armies against the militant. Okay, so we've heard a similar thing, that the problem is security and the problem is the Islamists and yada yada, blah, blah, blah. Now, let's think about this. I just showed you the United States supporting a terrorist, right? But just in case that wasn't enough for you, I got another video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got a lot of video. I got another video that just reinforces the point.
The Assad regime in Syria. Rebels seized President Bashar al-Assad's palace just 2 weeks after they launched an offensive against his government. The dictator, now in Russia, granted asylum by President Putin. ABC's Karen Travers is at the White House, where the Biden administration is celebrating.
After more than 50 years in power, the oppressive Assad regime deposed in just 11 days, overthrown by rebel fighters.
Assad was the author of the killing of hundreds of thousands of people, the oppression of religious and ethnic minorities as well. And so, from our perspective, it is good that he is gone.
The leader of the rebels who brought down Bashar al-Assad is a former al-Qaeda member who turned against the terror group and is promising a turning point for the region. The rebels took over state television, declaring the city of Damascus liberated. Inside the presidential palace they seized a display of Assad's massive wealth, a wide array of luxury goods. Citizens ransacking the building, carrying out furniture, taking selfies, and firing guns into the air. Russia has confirmed that Assad is in Moscow, where a Kremlin spokesman says he and his family were granted political asylum. President Biden describing the situation as a fundamental act of justice, but also acknowledging the uncertainty of the situation.
It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country.
Meanwhile, there's now renewed hope for the family of Austin Tice, the American journalist kidnapped in Syria in 2012 and believed to have been held by the Assad regime.
So maybe this is the moment that will lead to his release, and I know that we are actively hoping and praying for that.
The Biden administration is providing an incentive to get Austin Tice back on American soil, offering a reward to anyone who can provide information. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
So we see that not one, but two administrations supported a terrorist who they both knew was Al-Qaeda. Like, how do you become former Al-Qaeda? So either one, he's Al-Qaeda and you supporting a terrorist, or two, he's Al-Qaeda, but he actually is Mossad or CIA or both. And you're just supporting a Mossad CIA takeover of Syria. It's one of these two things. It's plain and simple, right? And so, to be an African country and to see this and to sign a defense pact with powers who are openly supporting terrorism because you're with them to fight against terrorism, I don't know how that works. I need somebody to help me out. And look, am I wrong? Am I lunching? Do I not know what's going on? can I not see what's happening? Does this make absolutely no sense? Am I the only person that thinks this is sheer insanity? Right? Y'all help me out. It's like serious. But look, we got Ghana, we got Senegal. Do y'all think those are the only countries? Absolutely not. Kenya, whenever we talk about an African country doing something wrong or ass backwards, we always gotta go to Kenya. I got another video. Go play this. And Kenya has signed an agreement yet again with the United States.
The United States is expanding the Manda Bay military base in Kenya in a bid to strengthen counterterrorism and maritime operations along the Horn of Africa. According to Kenyan and U.S. officials, the project is estimated to cost about $70 million. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Lando, who is on a visit to Nairobi, presided over the groundbreaking ceremony. The expansion is centered on extending and modernizing the Manda Bay runway and is being described by both governments as a strategic investment to boost counterterrorism readiness.
We have to show those who would attack us that we are resolved to defend ourselves. And so that is what this outpost really represents. It is a very tangible commitment to the common defense between the United States and Kenya. I think that sends a very strong signal to those who would be our adversaries.
Manda Bay is a Kenya Defense Force site which also hosts U.S. troops. The base has long served as a forward operating location for operations targeting extremist groups in Somalia and the wider region. It has also been the target of militant attacks. According to U.S. officials, the runway expansion will bolster joint operational readiness and improve logistics by enabling larger aircraft to operate from the coastal outpost.
The security environment along our shores here and across the Horn of Africa, as we all know, remains complex, interconnected, and consequential to global stability. Piracy, human trafficking, and attacks on commercial shipping through critical checkpoints and threaten international trade and regional prosperity.
Okay. So we've seen this, right? We've seen multiple countries, B48, Brother Tony. We've seen multiple countries now sign various forms of defense pacts with the United States and the EU. And they've cited the same issue. We got to fight terrorism. We got to fight terrorism. We got to fight terrorism. And let's look at this next article. It says French cement maker Lafarge found guilty of financing jihadists, that's another word for terrorists, in Syria. Again, you can't make this stuff up. How can you sign an agreement to fight terrorism with people who are funding terrorism? Let's read the article. Right? This is from yesterday. Okay, this talk about on time. It says a Paris court on Monday found cement maker Holcim Lafarge unit guilty of charges that its Syrian subsidiary financed terrorism and breached European sanctions to keep a plant operating in northern Syria during the country's civil war. The case was the first time a company has been tried in France for financing terrorism. Sherpa and ECCHR, two organizations that filed the initial lawsuit, in a joint statement called it a historic decision in the fight against multinational corporations' impunity. Don't say so. It says 8 former Lafarge employees were found guilty, including CEO Bruno Lafont, who was sentenced to 6 years in jail. That's it. His lawyer told Reuters he would appeal. A lawyer for Christian Perrault, the former deputy managing director of the Lafarge Group, who was sentenced to 5 years in jail, said Perrault would also appeal. Judges determined that Lafarge total paid 5.59 million euros or 6.54 million to jihadist groups, including Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, affiliated Mushrif, which is actually the same that is talking about this part. The presiding judge, Isabel Prevost de Perez, said the payments made by Lafarge helped to strengthen jihadist groups that carried out deadly attacks in Syria and beyond. It is clear to the court that the sole purpose of the funding of a terrorist organization was to keep the Syrian plant running for economic reasons. Payments to terrorist entities enabled Lafarge to continue its operations. These payments took the form of genuine commercial partnership with the Islamic State. She added, the cement maker was ordered to pay 1.125 million euro or 1.32 million fine, the maximum penalty available for a company. Lafarge acknowledges the court finding, which concerns a legacy matter involving a conduct that occurred more than a decade ago and was a flagrant violation of Lafarge's code of conduct, the company said in a statement. So, let's think about this, right? And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because a French court has found a French company, that's no problem, brother. A French company of funding terrorists. So now it's not conspiracy theory. No one's making it up. It's documented in court filings in France, right? So when Molly says this, let's check this out. What does Molly say? Molly says, France funded terrorists, France denies. Well, this is from 2022. Obviously, even if France didn't fund the terrorists that they're talking about, France funded terrorists. And if France funded terrorists there, how do you know that France didn't fund terrorists here? Let's read the article. And this is 4 years ago. It says, tensions between France and Mali continue to mount as the articles below, one from Mali and one from France, delineate the so-called, the new leaders, I'll put that, I'm so proud of this word, of Mali recently sent a letter to the UN Security Council accusing France of illegally violating its airspace to aid terrorist groups in the country, which France's years-long Burkina counterterrorism mission has been in the country to fight. Now, let me say this real quick, and I wish I had a video of this, but I do not. But Mr. Goita has said that he was part of the groups that were fighting terrorism. And the reason he took over the country was because when he went to fight terrorism, right? And they had an opportunity at one time to really stomp out a threat. They were given orders to stand down. And at that moment, he knew that either that these people were being, the terrorists now, were being protected, or they had to be in bed leadership. And he didn't know how far that went up the line, but he knew that he couldn't protect his people, and the terrorists committed a crime against the people, an atrocity. And at that point, that's when he made the decision. Nah, we can't have this. We got to stop this out, right? So, comes in the office, accuses the people, and now we see at least some French somewhere have been helping some terrorists somewhere. So this is not this is a valid charge, simply based on that, based on the documentation. Now, let's get back to the article. It says that Malian diplomats went on to request a special meeting of the UN Security Council, but ultimately, quote unquote, provided no proof. For its part, as detailed in the second article from the private left-leaning French editorial L'Opinion, the French embassy in Bamako denied the claim. As the writer of the article pondered, is this letter a way for Bamako to designate an internal enemy to veil its internal shortcomings? Such accusations, unfounded as they appear to be, play out against the backdrop of France's last 9 years in the Sahel, leading the Burkina counterterrorism mission against groups associated with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. While France officially ended its Burkina mission in August 2022, the ruling Malian government and large swaths of the Malayan population have taken to blaming the French mission not only for failing the tide of violence, but also for offering support to such groups. Until now, such accusations have percolated in bilateral circles, angering French diplomats and even President Macron. Their elevation to the UN Security Council places them at an unprecedented new levels. Now, let me say this. At this point, we would have to be very silly to take anything that any group of Europeans says at face value, right? But, oh man, I took the video down. But let's just think for a moment. Let's say that Mali is right, and why would France or any other European group want to sponsor terrorism? Well, you sponsor the terrorism, that way you have to stay there to fight the terrorism. As long as the terrorism is there, then you are there, and then you can, as the woman said in Ghana, extract the resources, right? So they tell you what it is, and we know for a fact, because we discussed this previously, that Niger has a large amount of uranium, and that uranium powers France's electricity. Right? Their electricity is based on nuclear power, but they don't have any uranium for themselves. So that's why they wouldn't go anywhere. But what is the worst that can happen by having European bases in your country and expanding the bases so bigger planes can land? What is the worst thing that can happen? Well, what could the Europeans be thinking that we, or at least not we, because the small audience we have here, we know what's up. But those people aren't thinking they're thinking. Well, let's go back in time and listen to somebody who told us what they think about African people, and then maybe they will get a clue as to what's going on. So let me play this video real quick.
It ultimately comes down to a contest of what is governance. Who is governed, which countries are governed well. And if so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, then it's time for us to put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually making their country better.
People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Enough.
And look, it gets no clearer than that, right? Like, we didn't forget about that. We didn't forget that Eric Prince said up there, and the guy said, hey, man, you know, you talking about being a colonialist? And he said, absolutely. He didn't hesitate. Now, if you think Eric Prince is the only European who thinks about reconquering Africa, they can get access to the resources, get access to the women, and get access to the little boys, because it is the Epstein group. Remember, Iran said, we're fighting the Epstein gang. If you think that Eric Prince is the only European that's thinking like that, and you think, remember that the general, what's his name, LeCointre or whatever his name is, he said something similar. And you sit up here and you make a deal with these people, right? Like, what sense does that make? What makes you think that if he's saying that, if he's thinking this, if he has these ideas, what makes you think that your country is exempt from being colonized, from being taken over? that you're not part of the people that he claimed is the problem. What makes any leader, what makes Ghana think, what makes Kenya think, what makes Senegal think, or what makes any of these other countries that are getting in bed with 5,000-year-old enemies, what makes them think that they are exempt from this? I want to know. Because to me, if people come out and tell you what they think, that they want to dominate you, that they want to destroy you, that they want to enslave you, at some point, you should listen to them, right? At some point, you should say, you know what? Maybe we should get prepared for this. Maybe this is really a threat. Maybe this is a problem that we have to deal with, right? But apparently, that we just have people that they just love their enemy so much that they're willing to risk the destruction of all of Africa just so they can feel secure from an enemy that is a problem. Brother, you got a question because I'm about to go to. He said, what if this video is exactly what made these Mobutu sign agreements? Brother, I don't even have an answer to that. I don't even understand that type of cowardice. And it never even occurred to me what you said. That could be true, which would be insane in my book, but you could be onto something. I don't understand that type of cowardice where they say, hey, we need to just take back over you like, and you just bend over and give people an opening. I don't want to understand it. Now, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand that, but I cannot dismiss your question out of hand. That's insane. And Brother KW Dawn, with this $5 super chat, we appreciate you, brother. He says, I appreciate Eric Prince with 3 Ks. Eric Prince's honesty. If he shows up in Africa, he should not be able to walk out. Absolutely. The fact that he's still breathing is a testament to the weakness of the black man. So what I'm about to do, I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll finish this discussion up short.
My name is Elijah Lewis. I'm an author and motivational speaker. I'm coming to you from the DMV Showcase. Just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about my book, Your Jewels in Your Journey. This book is all about giving us the tools we need to be our optimal self. What I tell people is that we're all on a journey, and on the journey we learn that life lessons are jewels, but it's also the people that we connect with that inspire us to be better that are jewels. And more importantly, we find out that at the end of the day, you yourself are a jewel. If you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. But more importantly, it's all about also teaching other people how to do the same once you feel inspired yourself. So if you want to learn more about me and my book, you can go to my website, www.elijahlewis.org. You can check out my book, Book Me for Motivational Speaking. I speak on topics such as freedom from life's addictions, the reality of your vision, and many other things. And also to let you know that during the holiday season, what we're doing is that when you purchase a copy of Your Jewels in Your Journey, 22% of that goes to a veteran that's battling PTSD. So we definitely want to give back to our veterans, especially those who are battling mental health issues. Mental health is very important. So it's always a nice way to give back to those who are less fortunate and who have given to us. So just let you know that this is going toward a worthy cause as well. And speaking of that, I'll take a quick moment to read from one of my books. A chapter from my book, rather. This is going to come from chapter 7, which is always give back and help others. When you make it to being your optimal self, you should think about who's coming behind you. Effective leaders don't necessarily have followers, but they're building leaders to come behind them. For this reason, it is important to always give back and help others. By doing this, you're helping the next generation be able to get to their optimal self with the lessons and opportunities you have been given. If you have been given a gift, then you should be able to share that gift with the world. It goes back to when I said you should have a great role model. Well, sometimes you need to be a good role model as well, and that starts by giving back and helping others. So definitely, if you feel inspired, check me out again on my website. Definitely, if you're in the DMV area, I always do pop-up events like this. So shout out to Dr. Chi-Chi. She's hosting the DMV vendor showcase. So definitely come check us out. We'd love to meet you, see how we can help you out. And at the end of the day, continue to be the jewels that you are, and maybe find many jewels on your journey. Thank you.
Question is, now, you see, the way you talk are frightening quite a lot of people. Okay. All right, according to what they've been saying and what I know. And I want to know that, are you going to not necessarily be meek and humble and all that, but are you going to just minimize your way of approach? Because not everybody's a revolutionary, or they have not been trained to be that, and the fear is keeping people away from coming together as they should. Now, what can you do about that?
There's nothing I can do about that, because it's my firm belief that somebody has to be that. Everybody can't be mealy-mouthed. Everybody can't be compromising. Everybody can't tiptoe through the tulips. Everybody can't play politics. Everybody can't, if I haven't said it, compromise. Somebody has to be strong. I wouldn't have to be as strong as I am if I saw some others being strong like that. I could tone down, but I'm feeling such desperation to get the message out, to try to plant the seed in those who are strong enough that the walls of their heart, the walls of the uterus of their minds, metaphorically speaking, can hold that revolutionary life and not abort it.
We're going to connect the dots, right?
Connect them.
In the first part, who did they attack?
Women, childbearing.
Women of childbearing age, right? The Catholic priests, they pointed out, they're like, wait a minute, how come you're not applying this to everybody? In the second clip, who did they attack?
Heterosexual men.
The heterosexual men. Let's do a little math. If you sterilize the women, and remember, this was applied to 500,000 women. Now, we're going to understand something here. If you apply that to Europeans, that might mean 500,000 to 1 million people not being born. But African people have more children. So you're talking about 2 to 3 million Africans not being born. Then on the other end, the men are, what's the problem with the men? The men are what? The men are heterosexual. They're masculine. They're too manly. That manliness is terroristic. So they're going to study how to stop that. So if you attack the women with the drugs and you turn the men into homosexuals, how many people will be produced? Zero. Genocide, plain and simple, and they tell you and throw it right in your face.
Out there, we have to be careful what sign we're standing next to. That's right. They had every color damn sign out there. That's right. We're queers for Mumia. That's a shame. We went to rallies in Philly. Every time the new Black Panther Party comes up, people got problems. Everybody could come up for Mumia and all political prisoners except the Black Panther Party. Right. Nobody wanted us around. Crazy cracker women standing up with their fist in the air talking about what I just mentioned, queers for Mumia. We're the lesbians for Mumia. And they are welcome at every rally. But some of our own brothers and sisters who claim to be revolutionaries will welcome the queers, will welcome the sissies, the faggots, will welcome the lesbians, the transvestites, the crossovers, the used-to-bes, the wanna-bes. They will welcome all of them. But when we come and say, Black Power, they say, oh, we don't need that. That's divisive. That divides the people. We don't need that on the platform for the political prison. God damn it, if a faggot can stand up, if a lesbian or dyke can stand up, if a queer can stand up, then God damn it, the Black Power movement must take a stand for our political prison.
We would be offended by receiving money
that's due to us
for work that we did that we were never paid for. That we would be offended for receiving money for being brutally raped, for being whipped, for being worked from sun up to sundown, for having our name taken from us, our language, our spiritual systems, to be instilled with such self-hatred that Black people are bleaching their skin, to have families ripped apart and have a man to have his wife sold off and sent to another state where he never sees her again, where a woman will have her son or daughter, or maybe son and daughter, taken and shipped off to some other plantation where she never sees them again. He says you will be offended for receiving money for that. Dr. Collins said, yes, we need reparations. But white man, we also need some of your blood. I'll take the money first and the blood second, or vice versa. But what does the homosexual say? He basically said, white people won't like us if we get reparations. Right? I mean, think about it. He steps up here before Congress and talks to the chairman, who is Mr. Cohen. What type of name is Cohen?
Small hat.
He tells Mr. Small Hat, hey, man, we don't need any money, Mr. Small Hat. And Mr. Small Hat, of course, is going to say, of course you don't, because he would be one of the main people that need to pay, because the hats were behind the slave trade.
That's right.
All right, brothers and sisters, we are back. Those were some powerful advertisements, and I want to thank everyone, all of our sponsors. Right? If you would like to sponsor a program, you have a service or a product that you would like to sell, you can shoot me an email at straightblackpride_dc@protonmail.com. That's straightblackpride_dc@protonmail.com. Again, you have entered the center. I'm your host, DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC_Radical_ONE, on OTW2 when it reloads at DC Radical One. If you would like to donate to the fund for the tickets to the Baba Zulu event, you can do that via Cashapp at $DC Radical One. Now, the reason I brought this map up, and really I wasn't supposed to get into this yet, but I wanted to just show, and I don't know if the cursor will show, I just wanted to show where, show the AES and show the countries that we talked about. So we got Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. This is the AES alliance here. Ghana is to the south of, directly to the south of Burkina Faso. Senegal is directly to the west of Mali. And Nigeria, which is notorious, the government is notorious for selling out, is directly to the south of Niger. Now, even worse than that, directly to the north of Niger is Libya, which is a country that has been destabilized and a country that has open air slave markets where enslaved Black people are still being traded like cattle as we speak. Now, those who have been following me, listening for a long time, you know we talked about this, brother. Genie did put it in one of his videos. We talked about this. How long ago was it that Gaddafi was assassinated? Has that been, what, 12 years now? 13, 14, however long that's been. They literally had Black people caged as that whole thing went down. That's still going on to this day. So as we see, right, the AES is surrounded by enemies. Niger is surrounded by, to the south, Niger, to the north, Libya. Mali, to the south, to the west, Senegal, that just signed the deal that we talked about earlier. And then, of course, if we look at Burkina Faso, Ghana did just sign a deal with the U.S. So, the chances of, and then if you look further to the east, you have Egypt, which can be trusted because they didn't help the Palestinians. So if they're not helping their own people, they can't be trusted to help anybody. The Sudan, which is currently in a war. The South Sudan is barely avoiding a war. Ethiopia, which is having a war, quiet as kept. Eritrea, that sometimes is having a war with Ethiopia, and then sometimes is having a war with only some of the people in Ethiopia. So as we see, it is things are very tenuous for our brothers in the AES, and it's surrounded by enemies and cowards. Thank you, brother. Brother said Gaddafi was assassinated on October 20th, 2011. So that's been nearly 15 years ago. Thank you for that information. So we see how tenuous this is. Now, again, remember, the thing was everybody signing deals because they want to fight terrorism. All right. Now, what does Mali say? Or did I read the Mali? Oh no, I read this one. My bad. I read this one. It's this one that I want to go to. It says France denies role in Niger airport attack, and the government doubles down on accusations. See, this escaped the eyes of a lot of people. A lot of people didn't see this, but I brought it back up that this was in February, so it wasn't that long ago, a couple of months ago. It says French President Emmanuel Macron has dismissed suggestions of any planned intervention in Niger. Well, we know he's lying. I don't even know why he said it. Firmly rejecting claims from the country's ruling party that Paris is orchestrating destabilization efforts. Now, remember when I said before we had the commercial break that Paris, France, is completely dependent on nuclear fuel for their electricity, and that because of that, Niger is vital because Niger has much needed uranium. Now, how important is uranium? Just think about this for a moment, right? Right now, Iran is fighting for their life against 2 nuclear armed powers. The only thing that is stopping those the only thing that would probably stop those nuclear powers is nuclear weapons. Iran getting nuclear weapons because Iran has the missile capacity to defend itself. We've seen that, like they've done that. The U.S. and Israel are the ones begging for the what's name. But let's think about this. Iran has supreme missile and drone technology. What they don't have is enough uranium to make bombs to defend themselves. What doesn't Niger have? Niger does not have supreme missile technology. I mean, look, do I need to say anything else? So if you're the United States and France and these countries, what you don't want is for Niger to make deals with your enemies so that they can arm themselves and Niger can arm themselves. And brother, you got ripped off, has some new information for us. It says as of January 2026, Mauritania received new U.S. military equipment, continuing a long-standing bilateral security partnership. Mauritania is to the west. Thank you, brother. Let's go back to our map. Let me see. Can we get our map together? Let's go back to our. Did I close off the map? No. Okay, here we go. So, brother says that Mauritania has a. Let's see. Where are we? That's western. No, there we go. Mauritania, directly to the west. I'm looking so hard. I've looked right back. Directly to the west of Mali, Mauritania has signed an agreement with the United States. So let's just be realistic. They're surrounded by enemies. Like literally, they're surrounded by enemies. So now we understand why Captain Traore says it's going to be a dark winter, because plenty of people, basically everyone surrounding them virtually, has shown that they're willing to bend over and give evil an opening. And if you're willing to do that, then of course you're willing to allow those bases to be used to destroy our brothers, and then claim you didn't know that's what they plan to do. I was recently talking to a brother about William O'Neill, right? And how William O'Neill betrayed Chairman Fred Hampton, and then after the police came in and shot up the place and slaughtered Chairman Fred and was shooting all over the place and almost killed his son and his wife, and killed I believe it was Mark Clark. Then William O'Neill says, well, I didn't know they were gonna do that. But what you thought they was gonna do? You wrote the plans, you showed them where the chairman was sleeping, and you showed the security and everything else so that they could plan the attack, and then you said you didn't know they were going to attack. But what you thought they were going to do? Come and do some refurbish the house, refurbish the apartment? It's a ridiculous concept. In the same way that the chairman was betrayed by a Negro who was scared of Europeans, we got the same cowardly type people, except they're in leadership of a country, and we got to be on the lookout for these people. Because the threat is always by the people closest to you. So even if the threat is not internal as far as in your country, you're surrounded by enemies, surrounded by traitors, surrounded by cowards. Right? So let me go to this other article, because I'm closing out by quarter of. But let me go to this article. It says Macron's comments come as tensions between Paris and Niamey continue to simmer following Niger's 2023 coup as fresh accusations and counterclaims underscore a deepening diplomatic rift between the two countries. On Friday evening, Niger's leader, General Abdurrahman Tiani, renewed allegations that France was behind the January 29th attack on Niamey Airport, an assault claimed by Islamic State in the Sahel. He described the incident as part of a sick agenda of destabilization, while maintaining that the apparent objective to cripple Niger's air capabilities had ultimately failed. Paris had repeatedly denied any involvement, with French Armed Forces spokesman Colonel Guillaume Vernet calling the accusations clearly informational warfare. Macron's stance has reinforced that position, signaling France's continued refusal to be drawn into what it sees as politically motivated claims. General Tiani, who seized power in July 2023, has frequently criticized France, accusing the former colonial power of financing jihadist groups active in the Sahel, a charge that Paris denies. France, which has previously led counterterrorism efforts to no avail whatsoever, was forced to withdraw troops following a wave of coups across West Africa. The January airport attack has become a focal point in this dispute. Tiani said it was meant to be followed by several simultaneous assaults in the Tillabéri region, a long-travel area near Niger's western border. While he acknowledged a flaw in airport security, he praised the response of Nigerian forces following the attack had been valiantly repelled. Notably, Russian soldiers, reflecting Niger's shift towards Moscow as a key partner, reportedly assisted in countering the assault. The growing relationship highlights a broader geopolitical shift as Niger seeks new alliances after cutting ties with France. Despite the heated rhetoric, there are signs of resilience within Niger's security apparatus. Tiani emphasized that defense and security forces are ready to take on any challenge, projecting confidence in the country's ability to manage ongoing threats. Beyond security concerns, the standoff between Niger and France has taken on a significant economic dimension, particularly over uranium, one of Niger's most valuable resources. That's what we just talked about. Let me go back. Okay, hold on. All right, where we go. The government has moved to assert control over the sector, nationalizing Sumer, a subsidiary of French nuclear fuel company Orano. The decision is part of the broader push to reclaim sovereignty over natural resources, which Niger's leaders say have long been exploited. Well, they're not saying it. That's an actual fact. I don't know who wrote this article. Anyway, Tiani struck a somewhat conciliatory note on Friday, stating that he was prepared to send France its share of uranium extracted from Sumer at the time of the coup, estimated at around 100 tons. However, he was unequivocal about future production, insisting that everything that has been produced since then is Nigerian and will remain Nigerian. The issue has tangible consequences on the ground. Around 1,000 tons of yellow cake uranium concentrate has been sitting at Niamey Airport for weeks awaiting export. Its fate remains uncertain, symbolizing the broader stalemate between the two countries. Well, now there's your answer. The attack was meant to take the yellow cake. France has challenged the move in court, with Orano launching legal proceedings against nationalization. For Nigeria's leaders, however, is stepped toward greater economic independence, a key part of their agenda. I'm gonna just say this. Oh, hold up. Oh, I'm not. I'm gonna put this up here. Traders are our biggest problem. Our people's biggest problem. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. When you look historically, it doesn't matter where you at, whether you're in America, whether you're in Africa, or whether you're in the Caribbean. I don't care if it's 20 black people on the moon. One trader can destroy everything, right? Now, I want to read this last article, and then I'm going to play Baba Traore's a message from Baba Traore talking about this entire situation. Now, it says Mali defends sovereignty against Western-backed proxy war by terrorist groups. This is from last year. As panic-inducing travel advisories and doomsaying media reports prophesy the fall of Mali to an Al-Qaeda affiliate attacking fuel fuel convoys, the government has resecured supply lines and hosted Mali's first international defense expo in a supposedly besieged capital. So let's get into this really quickly. And it says that amid a barrage of media reports prophesying the fall of Mali to an Al-Qaeda affiliate, and I don't know if you all remember, but I did cover this earlier, and a lot of media were basically wishing for the downfall of Mali. But says the city was reported to be under siege, encircled by jihadists closing in on power. Some versions of "Is Mali about to fall?" was a rhetorical question across headlines, while the Atlantic Council declared the country was unraveling. Dismissing this betrayal as a scenario concocted in the Office of Foreign Intelligence Services, Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop insisted the fate of Mali and the destiny of the people in the West African region would not be decided by the media. He made these remarks on November 12th, addressing a press conference on the sidelines of BAMEX 25, Mali's first international defense expo, aimed at building an autonomous security architecture for Africa in the face of unprecedented security and geopolitical challenges. This expo, he said, is yet another indication of the Malian government's priority to strengthen its defense and security to combat the threat of terror groups that were spawned across the Sahel by NATO's destruction of Libya in 2011. Mali was amongst the first and worst affected by these terror groups. Its former colonizer, France, which was a key participant in Libya's destruction, which ultimately means that they were part of the problem and helped spawn the terrorism, right? Then deployed its troops ostensibly to protect Mali. Over the years, its military presence expanded across the Sahel, alongside the armed groups also grew in strength, increasing attacks in the areas under the French control. This led to a growing perception that French troops in the region were not fighting the terror groups it helped create, but guarding its own economic and political interests and maintaining its neo-colonial grip over the troubled former colonies. Amid mass protests against the French troop deployment, Mali's France-backed regime of then-President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta was removed in a popular military coup in 2020. A military government replaced the regime with the support of the protest movement, trade unions, and other progressive formations. In 2021, then Prime Minister Choguel Kokala Maïga recalled in an interview the active role played by France in handing over Mali's territory to terror groups. Upon arriving in the northern town of Kidal in 2013, France forbade the Malian army from entering. It created an enclave and handed it over to Al-Qaeda affiliate Ansar al-Din and Tuareg separatists brought together, he said. Later in 2017, Ansar al-Din coalesced with other terrorist groups to form Jamaat Nusra al-Islam wal Muslimin, which became one of the most dangerous groups in the Sahel. It's an enclave controlled by France. They have armed groups trained by French officers, and we have evidence of this, Maïga said in a 2021 interview. However, the new government retook Kidal in November 2023, less than a year and a half after expelling the French troops. On the ground today, terrorist groups are no match for Mali's defenses and security forces, Diop told a report press conference. There have been enormous efforts to equip Mali's defense and security forces, which have achieved resounding success against the terrorist groups, he said, adding that this forced them to change their strategy and attack softer targets. So that was 6 months ago, and Mali is still standing, right? Now, because I don't have much time, I want to play Captain Traore's warning about the dark winter and what Africa is facing.
I will apologize once again to those whom my words might offend, because I will not mince words. We will once again tackle the words that mimic Africa. You have certainly all heard of the Arab Spring, this phenomenon that has shaken the geopolitics of the Arab world, starting with the Maghreb in Africa and extending to Asia, manifesting with often disastrous consequences, including deaths and divisions in some places and unprecedented political upheavals in other places. And I think all Africans should understand what this phenomenon is, where it comes from, and what needs to be done to protect against such a phenomenon. Unfortunately, we regret to note that some Africans are not waking up. And what I want to say is only my own thought, my analysis, is that there is something coming to West Africa, which I have called the Black Winter. The Black Winter is coming. It will be a very cold winter, a bloody winter, a murderous winter. You might ask me why. Well, when founding the AES Confederation, we felt this cold coming. And every single day, we strive to find tree trunks to light a fire that will warm the hearts of Africans, a fire that will warm the mindsets and the blood of Africans to unite us. At the same time, we also endeavor to charge at the wolf, to try to use their skin to make coats to protect us from the winter cold. We endeavor to build mountains, large mountains, to break the winter wind that is expected to strike our communities. Unfortunately, it must be acknowledged that some blacks are there every day watering our tree trunks with fresh water so they cannot burn. They turn into wolves to ensure that we, the wolf hunters, cannot surprise them, the wolves. When we want to build our mountains, they break the stones so we cannot reach them. Yet winter is coming, and when winter comes, should we allow those who fight us to come and protect themselves with the coats we have made, with the mountains we have built to shield ourselves from the winds, or to warm themselves with us around the fire? This is the question we must ask ourselves. What will become of Pan-Africanism when winter comes? Winter will come because the war is moving to West Africa. The imperialists are doing everything to set West Africa ablaze. But from the top levels of the state down to some parts of the population, either we pretend not to see the danger coming, or we are complicit in what is going to happen. Chaos could ensue. I said it could ensue. Many people could die. We could slaughter each other in such an atrocious manner that, during this time, they will be there plundering our riches, imposing their will. And those who will survive this tragedy will have only two choices: either unite forever against imperialism, or resign themselves to being slaves until they disappear. Therefore, we must guard against the winter, the black winter that is coming. We cannot understand that black people here in West Africa pray to God that terrorists kill black populations. We cannot understand that cowardly heads of state hide behind the so-called media to discourage, insult, and incite hatred between populations. These individuals who are on their platforms, who every day from morning to night spit their toxic venom to fan the flames of hatred between communities, they are generally very nasty. With their miserable faces, they know only how to do this. Look at them there. They are there with eyes like wild fruit flies, every day spitting venom. They seek to divide communities. On social media, they are there, and they are numerous. They are there, and they are numerous. Why do we black people seek to cultivate hatred among ourselves and hypocritically call each other brother? We must be able to tell each other the truth very bluntly, even if it offends. We will apologize, but we must wake up. Why are black people like this? Why can't we see the danger coming, unite, and warn each other? Why is it that by our behavior, we must face these dangers that might decimate us? Doubts have closed our ears. They pretend not to hear the policy of appeasement. Some people indulge in colonization. They like this domination. They almost invite the imperialists, come colonize us. We love being your slaves. We often ask ourselves questions when we see these reactions. It is pseudo-brain pseudo-intellectuals who spend all day engaging in debates with complete indignity, complete dishonesty, as if they do not see the reality of the examples before us. There are plenty of examples. When democracy does certain things contrary to the very rules it has set for itself, they turn a blind eye. But they are quick to call us young or puppets. But be sure of one thing: we are united, and we will remain united. And we must open our eyes. The AES will evolve. Not everything is necessarily rosy. Not everything can go at the pace we desire, but we are advancing calmly, and we will reach our goal. And when winter comes, if we must go through winter to be free, to be united, we pray to God that it will be so and that He protects our people. Otherwise, one thing is certain: the AES will prevail, the AES will grow.
That was Captain Ibrahim Traore predicting the Black Winter. And, you know, as he speaks about traitors and people willing to bend over and give evil an opening, and people volunteer. We've seen those same mentalities and that same psychological enslavement, right? We see it amongst our leaders over here. The Congressional Negro Congress doesn't do anything for Black people over here. And I mean, Brother Tony said that traitors are our biggest issue. Our biggest issue is that traitors are in leadership positions. And this is something that Marcus Garvey talked about literally 100 years ago. And yet here we are still talking about it, not only here, but on the African continent. So before I close out, I just want to remind you all that we are having a small fundraiser. My shoelace 58th anniversary is this Sunday. I would like to attend. As you see, the tickets are $85. I have not checked. Thank you, brother. You got ripped off for sending a sizable amount. We should be right around the mark. Any money that you send in regard to this will be sent to Baba Zulu, whether I'm able to attend or not. The money is going to Baba Zulu. In fact, I'll probably end up just buying my ticket tomorrow. I'll probably end up buying my ticket tomorrow because I know where to go. So if I have enough money tomorrow, I'll buy my ticket tomorrow. Whenever I have enough money, that's when I'm going to buy the ticket. The tickets are, let's see, what are the tickets? $75 before, $85 at the door. So yeah, I should have enough money. Yeah, let me check. I'll check and see. But this is the oldest African Center school in the country. The school has been here longer than probably everybody that's within the sound of my voice at this time. And Baba Zulu, as I said before, for those of you who weren't here, is a living library. He has worked with, among others, Mayor Marion Barry, Dr. Martin Luther King when he was a young man, Baba Stokely Carmichael, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and Dr. John Henry Clark, just to name a few. He's also traveled to the African continent, and he has, I've seen his students go from little children to adults who have graduated high school early. We graduated high school 15, 16 years old, graduating college, 19, 20 years old, getting advanced degrees, 22 years old, getting prestigious jobs and starting businesses and doing all types of things. His record of education with, as he says, education with African culture is unmatched in my humble opinion from what I've seen. I'm not saying other people aren't doing good work. I'm saying he's been doing this work the longest, and he's teaching our children to love themselves. They have to wear African attire. They have to wear their natural hair. There's no inwarding, and that's why I support this institution. Like I said before, over the last 10 years, when it's really been longer than 10 years, I have, if I were to calculate, I probably have given, being completely honest, because now that I think about it, the first one I went to was probably 14 years ago. So I've been supporting Baba Zulu probably 14 years now. Yeah, about a good $1,500 or so to support Baba Zulu. And it's probably more than that because I bought products from him and dinners and yeah. Anyway, so that just goes to show how much that I supported him, how much I believe in the institution, and how much I appreciate him for his work, because he's given me life lessons and understanding and history, and showed me things and told me things and taught me things that it may not be 100 people on earth that I could have got this information from, because he lived it, he was there. And so, like I said before, if you don't want to send me money to support, you can send the money directly to Ujamaa School via Cash App, and you can send the money directly to them. I will post a flyer up on Instagram and on YouTube, and I would just let you all know that even if you don't have the money now, you can still send the money via Cash App to Ujamaa School at any time as a donation. I believe it's tax deductible, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on it. But you can do that at any time, like I said. So, also, I do plan to be on Thursday. We will talk about the Africa Bambaataa brandy situation and let's be realistic. What we're going to talk about is our lack of ability and desire to protect our children, right, from predators. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to use Brandy and R. Kelly and Jay-Z and Greek Bang Booty and all those people as an example. So approximately 48 hours from now, we'll be back on and we will discuss those issues. And because again, this stuff comes back up and things haven't gotten any better. And there's some of the comments and stuff that I've seen have been very disgusting, and we're just not properly addressing these issues. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you got this message, if you came on late, go back and watch the show. If you come on afterwards, be sure to watch the whole show. And I thank you all for your support. Again, you can email me at straightblackpride_DC@protonmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_ONE. And you can donate via Cash App $DC Radical1 or via Zelle at straightblackpride_DC@protonmail.com. So with that, I say a BB4ODA and straight black pride.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB4ODA.